Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. We've got something very special today. We're going to be celebrating Mom. You know, it's that time of year and I've got some great ideas that'll be perfect for Mother's Day, but also for any time of year. We're going to start with a kid-friendly recipe that is just delicious for brunch. And then Victoria Kirby, my intern from this semester from Auburn University, is going to show her expertise on cupcake decorating. So first, let's start with a spinach ricotta brunch bake. Perfect for breakfast in bed for Mom. Uses puff pastry, really spectacular and is absolutely delicious. Then we're going to do a cupcake centerpiece with all of the beautiful cupcakes that we do today. It'll be perfect centerpiece for anything that you're doing over the spring. And then in Vera's Corner, Victoria is going to show us some more ideas on how to decorate cupcakes. So we've got a lot to do. Let's get started with that spinach ricotta brunch bake. All right, so we are going to get started on that spinach ricotta brunch bake. And I've started with puff pastry that you can pick up in the frozen food section of the grocery store. And I've floured my rolling pin and the board. And we are just going to make this into a 14-inch square, just so it'll fill up the springform pan that we're going to use. Really easy to do. All right, so I've got that pretty much together there. And the easiest way to do this is really to kind of fold it so you don't lose it on the way over. But I've got my springform pan. I'm going to put a little cooking spray in that, just so it'll come out clean. And you know, those springform pans get real dusty in the cabinet because you don't ever use them for anything but a cheesecake. But anything that has a delicate bottom or needs to be layered is perfect in a springform pan. The one thing that you want to be cautious about, however, is the fact that there is a little bit of a way for things to leak through or seep through. So you want to either cover the bottom in aluminum foil, or in this case, I'm going to put it in on a sheet pan with a little bit of parchment paper on it so there's no leakage at all. So let me bring my pan over, and now we're going to unfold this and get it in the pan. So what we're going to do at the end of this is kind of drape this over the filling on the inside, so you want the four corners to kind of flip over the edge of the pan. If they'll stay. It's such a delicate pastry, and this is what makes this look so amazing after it bakes, is the puff pastry bottom. All right, so now I've got the filling that we're going to put on with that. So we start with a little bit of ricotta cheese, and I'm going to add to that some beaten eggs. And as always, the recipes are available on our website at VeryVera.com. Now I've got salt, pepper, and we're going to put a little hot sauce in this today because Mom needs to wake up and smell the roses, right? So we've got that. You can leave that off if you don't want it. And then just some freshly chopped spinach. You know, this is where the children could come in and use a lettuce knife and cut that lettuce up, and they would feel like they were really getting involved in Mom's breakfast in bed on Sunday morning of Mother's Day, or like I said, any time in the summer, you know, when you're looking for things for the children to do, this would be a great thing to do on Saturday morning or Sunday morning before you go to church. All right, so we're just going to mix this together, and you're going to have a little bit, you know, some lumpy parts in it. But this is a layered brunch bake, and so we're going to put half of this mixture in the pan. And if you don't have an exact, it won't hurt anything. I want to just spread that around. Oh, this is so yummy, and that ricotta cheese. All right, now we're going to start with the layering process. So we've got some bacon. You're going to take half of that. And you know, you could get really creative with this recipe because there's so many other things that you could add to it. We've got some cheddar cheese, and I always like to grate the cheese myself. It's just so much better that way. And then we've got some feta cheese. Are you getting hungry? And then a little bit of red bell pepper. And here again, if you're trying to make it kid-friendly and you think the red bell peppers won't go over, you can leave those out, do something else, maybe mushrooms. All right, so now we're going to repeat this process. All right, so now we're ready just to fold over your corners. It's almost like you're wrapping up a present. And then just another technique that'll make it really good is a little bit of fresh cracked pepper across the top. You really don't need any additional salt because the bacon has salt in it. Now we're going to put this on the prepared pan, and this is going to go in the oven, and it's going to puff up and bake beautifully at 400 degrees. It's actually going to bake for about an hour. And when we come back from the break, you're going to meet Victoria Kirby, my intern for this semester, and we're going to get started learning more about her involvement with VeryVera this entire semester. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining us, we're doing all things spring today on the VeryVera Show, and we're actually celebrating Mother's Day. And I've got a very special guest today, Victoria Kirby, who is my intern this semester from Auburn University. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you.
I know, aren't you excited to actually be on the set? Yeah. Because you've had so much to do with behind the scenes. Victoria is from Huntsville, Alabama. She's a recent graduate of Auburn University in hospitality management. She also worked at Gigi's Cupcakes while she was a student at Auburn, and she's going to be doing some demonstrating with that in just a few minutes. So I'm really, really happy to have you do part of this. And actually, her project for the VeryVera Show internship was to create an episode. So everything we're doing today came right out of this beautiful young lady's brain, and she has assisted me in making sure that we have a really great show today. So tell us a little bit about your internship. Tell everybody what you've been doing this semester.
So I've been able to help with a lot of different aspects of the business. A lot of it's been with the show, assisting with the prep for the show and all things like that. And I've also been able to help with the Saturday Kids Camps, which has been a lot of fun, teaching the kids in the kitchen and helping them, get a start at cooking. So that's been a lot of fun. And also, more recently with the cookbook that's just come out, with the shipping and figuring out where the books need to go, and also with the cookbook tours with baking and stuff like that. So.
Does it sound like she's been a busy girl? One thing is for sure, when you're at VeryVera, there's never a dull moment,
that's
right?
Very true.
What would be, of all the things that you've been so multifaceted in what you've done, what was your favorite thing?
I think the show has definitely been my favorite because it's something that I wouldn't have thought about, doing in my internship. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, that's something really cool that I, never thought about doing, and it still aligns with cooking, which I'm very passionate about. So all things food and being creative with ideas such as this, being able to come up with recipes and, just help out with the show. It's been a lot of fun.
You make an interesting point. Where did you see the internship posted?
I saw it on internships.com, and I saw it right away and thought it was the perfect fit for me, and here I am. So.
Well, you're one of many interns that I have, but your internship was a little different. The other interns that I've had have become part of the VeryVera organization were graduate interns, and this was actually a requirement at Auburn to do an internship before you graduate. And I'm telling everybody out there, that is a really good thing to do before you graduate. Okay, you were a decorator at Gigi's.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
That was so fun. So I was looking for a part-time job in college, and I was, thinking I want to do something in the culinary industry. And I found this decorating position at Gigi's with no prior decorating experience. I was like, I'll just try it. And it was so fun to, be creative and be able to decorate all these kinds of cupcakes. And now I know how to do stuff like this.
And she's going to show us more in Vera's Corner today. What are we going to be doing?
We're going to be decorating 3 different kinds of cupcakes, 3 different techniques. So It'll be a lot of fun.
We got a lot to do, so come back with us in just a few minutes. Today I've asked Victoria to show us some different techniques for decorating cupcakes. From rosettes to swirls, there's all kinds of decorations for cupcakes. We'll start with an easy technique, a swirl. This uses a 2A round tip and a piping bag. Once you've filled your piping bag, touch the piping tip to the top of a cupcake. Holding pressure on the bag, squeeze with your dominant hand and use your other hand to guide the bag in a clockwise motion. Make 2 or 3 swirls. If you would like sprinkles on the cupcake, sprinkle them as soon as possible as the icing will harden quickly. A hydrangea design is a little more advanced. This uses a 2D tip. This time you will pipe in an up and down motion all over to make the cupcake look like a hydrangea. Our final design, a daisy, is the most advanced. This uses a 104 piping tip. With the smaller side of the tip facing the inside, pipe in an upside down U motion. In the middle of the petals, pipe yellow icing with any small round tip. There's a perfect daisy. These techniques will surely wow your guest at your next party. Welcome back, everybody, and Victoria is ready to give us some techniques. I'm so excited about cupcake decorating.
Yes.
And the icing matches my dress.
It does.
Did you do that on purpose?
Maybe.
All right, so let's get started.
All right. So we're going to start with our piping bag, and the tip is a 2D tip. You can get both at your local craft store.
And you said 2D.
Yes. So the technique you're going to do is you're going to get the bag and put it over your left hand, kind of just snuggle it down a little bit, and open it up. And then you're going to get your first frosting.
And you went ahead and added the red to that.
We colored this one before.
And it takes quite a bit of that to get that color.
It does.
Oh, I love that.
And you want to use, for this decoration, you want to use a stiff frosting. You know, if you see the frosting's not coming off, you know, off the spatula, so that's good for this because it's going to be, you know, the cupcakes are going to be hanging off a little bit, so you don't want the frosting to come off.
And we've got the frosting recipe on the website.
We do,
VeryVera.com.
yes. So you're just going to scoot the frosting down so it doesn't come off the top. You're going to fold it over and squeeze it with your dominant hand. Squeeze it all the way down until you can see it's coming out. You're going to take your first cupcake. And this is a rosette decoration, so you're going to start in the middle, squeeze just a little bit, and then start doing clockwise motion. And then stop at the end, and it's a little rose.
Gosh, that is so pretty.
I'm going to do just a little one.
Now, when you said that you worked at Gigi's and the job posting said no experience required,
I know.
You know, did you start with something simpler than this to begin with?
Yes. So, so there are so many different kinds of cupcakes that we decorate at Gigi's. That's the little baby one.
I know it.
And some of them were just dollops. So that's pretty much what I started with, was just a dollop of frosting, and grew to, you know, swirls, and the rosette cupcake is the tort at Gigi's. So, yep, that's what we did.
Well, and I'm sure there, you know, because that is a franchise, there's technique that apply to quantity.
Yes.
And of course the quality that it looks like, and you're trained in all of that.
Yes, and our famed Gigi swirl, it's what everybody has to learn while they're there, so.
Oh, gosh, that is really beautiful.
All right, so now.
All right, so tell me about the centerpiece idea.
So this is gonna be a cupcake bouquet, and it could be perfect for Mother's Day or for any kind of spring, you know, occasion. So what you're gonna do, just get your cupcake, and I have some of the dowels already stuck in, or you can use, you know, just a small skewer, and you're just gonna kind of jab it in there a little bit. And then...
Now we're doing this immediately after icing, but do you recommend that they let this icing set before they start this process?
Yes, especially if it's if the frosting is not hard enough, it's kind of difficult. You really have to jab it in there.
Well, and like you say, if these are just skewers that have a little bit of a thickness at the end so that it goes in the styrofoam easier.
Yes, and so I'm just gonna stick this on. There we go.
Oh, there, that went great.
That was perfect.
And if you've already got that, so you recommend going ahead and placing the skewers and then putting the cupcake on. All right, so how does it end up looking like a bouquet?
Okay, so we're gonna get just a sheet of green tissue paper and cut it into strips. And you're just gonna do kind of like an accordion fold. So you're gonna do one like that and one this way. Just kind of fold it along. And then it's supposed to look kind of like a leaf. So you're gonna put those in between the cupcakes that you've placed. So if we get our glue gun.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go in between here. Just place some, do it this way. Place some hot glue right there. And then stick it on. So then only get more cupcakes.
And if you went ahead and did this and you took the cupcakes off, then you've still got it where you can do it again. Well, that is a great idea for a centerpiece. We'll get finished on that during the break, and when we come back, we're gonna put the party together for breakfast in bed and for Mother's Day ideas. So come back with us in just a few minutes. I just love this. Welcome back, everybody. In Victoria, we've had such a great time today.
Thanks for having me.
It looks beautiful.
It does. It's so good.
You worked really hard on this bouquet, so tell us a little bit about the finishing process.
Okay, so we just used the skewers and poked them in the bottom of the cupcakes and just placed them on, and then used the accordion fold for the tissue paper. Just used the glue gun and just stuck them in between to look like leaves.
And you had prepared some in Vera's Corner today that we've utilized to make it look like a mixed bouquet instead of just pink, which, you know, if you were going to use flowers out of your yard, you would do. It's just beautiful. Well, obviously, we've had a great time. Victoria's been a fantastic intern this semester. And, you know, when you think about the opportunity, has it turned out to be kind of what you thought it was when you read the original post?
Oh yes, definitely. It's been such a great learning experience. I've gotten to learn from you and all the entrepreneurial side of it, so it's been great.
Oh, well, and you know, we have had things that have come up during the internship that weren't even part of the job description. So that's, you know, we used to say there's always something new at VeryVera, and we continue to say that even 34 years later. But we're going to kind of walk through what we did earlier today, because the recipe that you found for this spinach ricotta breakfast bake is just amazing. And look how beautiful it turned out. So let's walk back through that process. So we used the springform pan, which is that pan that's in the pantry that we never think about using except when you're making a cheesecake. It came in really handy here, and we did puff pastry that you can pick up in the frozen foods department, and then we did a layered technique. We had eggs and ricotta cheese, salt, pepper, a little bit of hot sauce, and then we did that as a layer, and then we added in bacon and cheese and, you know, just all kinds of things. You could really make this recipe whatever you wanted to. And it baked up beautifully. It does bake for an hour, so you have to give yourself enough time to do that. But it slices really beautifully too. That's a pretty large slice there that has a lot of the pastry. And then it just really is something that could even be good at room temperature. The kids can do it. Dad, you could do it for Mom on Mother's Day. And then the presentation today is on a Laura Trevi tray that we met at Southern Sea back at St. Simon's, and she has a beautiful line of trays. So we thought the blue was especially pretty. The children can make a card. It's just, you know, breakfast in bed. You know, that really makes you feel special, doesn't it? You know, when I think about some of what you've done this semester, Victoria, you know, to come in as a new intern and then get to this point in the show and the season to be able to start from start to finish and do this entire show yourself. Yes. I am so proud of you. You've done a fantastic job. So I certainly want to thank you for this opportunity. We've learned a lot from you. Hopefully you've done as well. I want to pay tribute not only to the fact that I'm a mother and a grandmother, but I want to pay tribute to my mother, who I've dedicated the book to. The VeryVera cookbook is dedicated to my first mentor, the strongest woman I've ever known, and she taught me so much. I know you look forward to celebrating with your mother. Please come back and join us next week. You know, we always say no matter what you do, do it in good taste. Join us again next week for the VeryVera Show.